Now, the first step in making Geometry Dash in Scratch is you gotta drop a 30-ton nuke on the Scratch cat. So let's just do that. You can also just delete the Scratch cat, but it's less fun that way. Now let's make the level of the Geometry Dash. So here's how we're gonna do it. First, I'm gonna pick the color of the level, and we're gonna make it dark blue. And you want to make it tiny on this, and then later we'll make it way bigger using a secret size method. So to design the map, you're gonna want to why don't I do a time lapse and I'll explain it. So basically, what you're gonna want to do for making the level is using the same color. You're gonna want to make a bunch of like towers and other things. Just imagine a character jumping on all these platforms, and then the end will be here. We can make the level longer and bigger later, but this is just a test. Now, in order to make it bigger, first of all, we have to name this. So this is going to be 1-1. Now, to make it bigger, we're going to have to paint, and we're going to keep this empty, actually. Now, let's name this empty. Now, what to do is we're going to go click, when green flag clicked, we're going to switch costume to empty, and also after that, a switch costume to 1-1. And in the middle, we're going to put a set size to, for now, let's do 500, always subject to change. And now we can see the level is giant, so why don't we make it just how about like 300 size? And put that in. Yeah, that's kind of all right. And let's say go to x0, y0. And instead of that, we want this all the way in the bottom. So that would be y minus 73 for me, but it may be different for you. Oops, I did 703. Let's fix that. And now it'll just go there. Now, we also want it to be, we want to be at the start of the start. So why don't we do minus 100? Let's try 500 to start and see how that works. And amazingly for me, 500 is perfect for some reason. Now we gotta make the player. Let's also name this level. Now to make the player, we'll just paint. We'll call this player. And before we do that, why don't we just do a forever and just put a change x by -5. And now it looks like the level is scrolling, which is great. But we still need our player. So let's draw it, and it can be just a perfect square. And I'm going to make it yellow. Perfect square. And we can figure out the sizing here. If you like it, you can make it smaller. And also, I feel like it needs some personality, so I'm going to give it boy, I'm bad at drawing. Let's just do 2 eyes and also do 1 just big old mouth. Yeah, that's a great player. One green flag clicked. Let's see. We want to start like over here. So this position, after we drag it, just wherever you dragged it, and it'll automatically be saved up there. So it'll start there. Now, we actually want it a little bit higher, so I'm going to do just 65, minus 75. Of course, it could be different from you, for you. And we're going to make some velocity code. Now, that sounds like a big word, but it's really simple, actually. So just write yvel, and for the sprite only, just to keep it less cluttered. So to start, we're going to set y velocity, and this is just how fast it'll fall. Now, obviously, in real life, the longer you're falling, the faster you're falling. So this is how we'll emulate that. So what we're going to want to do is forever change y velocity by -1, and a simple change y by y velocity. And if you run that, the player falls smoothly, but clearly out of our level. So how do we fix that? We just do if touching level, we're just gonna, first of all, set the y velocity to 0, but we also want it to go up out of it. So we're gonna do change y by, we also wanted the opposite number, so let's just do 0 to make it opposite, and y velocity. And if we play that, he'll stop while he's on the level. But we also want to get we also want him to jump. So it's simple. Put an if then inside after the set y velocity to 0, and do if key, you can do space, pressed, then set y velocity to just 13. So he's clipping through the level. So this is actually, I said we would modify it. So I'm going to modify this map and set this back farther over here. And just like that, we have a guy who can jump on the blocks. But obviously he's getting clipped a bunch, and that's not at all what we want. So to fix that, we're going to create a damage zone. Now to create a damage zone, we have to first, let's name this player. And let's duplicate that and create a DMG hit, which means damage hitbox. What that is going to be, so first of all, let's just delete the face. And just make it like that. Now, how this is going to work is if touching level, first, we're going to switch costume, which is right here, switch costume to damage hit. And if touching level, actually, let's make this an if else. If touching level, then we're gonna, let's make a block actually. We'll just call this lose. This is where we'll put the losing code. For now, we just want losing to be stop all. And later we can add different lose scripts. But for now, losing just means stopping everything. So if touching level, stop all. Otherwise, so else, switch costume to player. And we're also going to want to put a switch costume to player up here. And just put everything else we have in the if touching level. And drag that so it should be here. Let me zoom out. Pause the video right now if you need to see everything. I can zoom in more. So it's just if touching level, switch costume, whatever, you can read it. Now if we run it, see, it stops all. So I actually want it to be, so lose, it'll switch costume to player and then stop all. Now if we hit the wall, we lose. So I'm actually going to set the y to 0 because we have this issue. And now you can see we're losing the game. Now because I think there's a bug, we're just going to do a wait 0.1 second. And that should get rid of hit the green flag. Now it no longer takes 2 green flag clicks to play. Now you can play your level. And you're going to notice now there are parts of this level that are just way too hard and not feasible. So we're going to modify the level. But first, my level at least is way too short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the size to say 800. And now they're super big, which is not what we want. So we're going to modify everything. I'll time lapse it to show you what you should do to make it more feasible. Now I'm just gonna real quick make the outline size just like 1 or 2. That way it looks better on the when you're actually playing. And some other modifications we're gonna make too are we have to make the y higher to accommodate the more room we have. And I'm also going to make it instead of 700, which is just a bit too big for my liking, I'm going to make it 700 instead of 800. Now also, things we have to accommodate. I'm going to make the jump higher. So what you're going to do is go into the player, and where it says if space key pressed, instead of 13, let's do 50. You can always change this if you want to change the jump power. So now he jumps higher, and we click space. Now if you also want it to go faster, which I personally do, instead of -5, we could do -10. Still, you can go back to the time lapse, but make sure while you're designing to pause and play every once in a while, because you'll find things out like how you can't even see the bottom of the game. Now, I'm going to personally, to make it my level more fun, I'm going to actually make the size of the player smaller. So I'm going to set size to like 40. And now if I run it, yeah, it's a lot smaller. Okay, not 40. Maybe just 70. And if we run it, yeah. When it's smaller, it's going to clip more. So instead of having the Y start at 0, you can do -30. And now we can try the level and have bangs of fun. And I don't know, show this to your like grandma. Now, if you want to make this fairly ugly project actually look beautiful, make sure to subscribe, because when this video hits 20 likes, which might be hard, but I feel like we could do it. If this video hits 20 likes, I'm going to make a part 2 about how we can fix tons of bugs, make it much simpler, and make it actually look like Geometry Dash instead of, just like whatever this is, Alright, bye, and see ya.